Hey all. So today we're going to go through a little bit of actually utilizing Git in IntelliJ. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've generated a new project here. This is like a version of my while loops lecture. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this to a repository. So there's two stages to that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into version control here in IntelliJ, and I'm going to hit create a Git repository. And then it's automatically going to point at the project folder for my project here. All right, so I've attached this now. It's in a branch called master or main. Now, what I'd like to do is attach this to a Git repository on GitHub. And I haven't yet done that. I have attached my IntelliJ credentials to GitHub. So I went and did this the first time, and it asked me to log into GitHub, so I went ahead and did that. I don't have that stage here to show you, but I may get it on another computer here. My next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to GitHub. So this is my GitHub dashboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit create new, and the new thing I want to create is a repository. And I want to create a repository that I'm going to call Java while loop lecture. Yeah, let's call it that. And we could type in a description if we wanted to. The git ignore and all that junk is actually already created by IntelliJ, so I'm going to leave all this exactly at the defaults. If you want to type in a short description here, you can absolutely do that. I'm going to go ahead and hit create repository, and now I've got a blank repository. I'm just going to grab this URL up here at the top, and I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go for commit first. I'm going to grab all my unversioned files. I'm going to make a commit message. So this is going to be what I usually call initial commit. You could call this file creation or basic file creation, something like that. And then I'm going to hit commit. Okay, so that committed these changes. Great, good. Then we're going to go into our master here, and into our version control here. We're going to click push, and then this is where we're going to use our URL. So we're going to hit define remote. It's going to be the origin, and it's going to be this URL. I'm going to hit OK, and now we've got this, and now I'm going to be able to push to our remote. So we're going to hit push. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my GitHub repo here. And I'm just going to refresh this page. And you'll see now I've got my my code that I just wrote in here. So I'm going to pull that out of the way, and let's make a change. So instead of this saying hello world, I would like this to say while loops. And then you see I've got some changes here. So I'm going to select these changes. I'm going to say that this is updating main class to print while loop. We'll just call it to print the topic. This information here, this is called a commit message. This is a very important piece of these commits. This reminds you later what that change did. And so when you're looking back and you're like, oh, I screwed something up in the past, I want to go back to a version before I did that, it's really important that you list your changes that you've made in your commit so that you can then find the commit before that. Or, oh, this commit screwed something up, let me go see what I changed there. Or let me go see what someone else changed there. So now I'm going to hit commit here. That's going to commit. We could have hit commit and push. That would have been fine as well. I'm going to do that in 2 stages because I personally like for the stages to be outlined. So I committed. You'll see here when we hover this that it's got 1 outgoing commit. So we're going to hit push. That's going to tell us what that commit is. We're going to push. And then in our online version, we've got this is the old version. When we refresh here, we'll get our new version. When we go into code here, we can see that we've had 2 commits. And so we can click on these commits and we can see what each one did. So here we can see my commit message here. That's why this is important, so you can know what you changed. This little copying this SHA for this, that hash gives you the ability to bring it back to that commit later. So if you need the if you need this whole long alphanumeric rigmarole for a specific commit so you can revert to it, this is where you can get that information here. You don't have to go into get log. You can just grab it here. Okay, so I'm going to hop to another computer. I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to record those changes, and then I'll come back here and show you how to get changes that were made from another computer onto this one. Okay, so I have here a separate computer that I'm going to log into my GitHub on to clone the while loops repository that we created. So I'm going to hit clone repository here, and this is where I need the URL. So first things first, I'm going to get a Chrome window, and I'm going to go ahead and go to GitHub. And then we're going to sign in, and I'm going to go ahead and use my credentials here. And there's a 2-factor authentication bit, which I'm using my phone to do. Okay, and I don't need to add passkeys. Okay, great. So I'm logged into GitHub now. Oops. And I need to go grab my repository. So that repository was called while loops lecture. So I'm going to grab that here, copy that, I'm going to drop that in here, and that's kind of a fine location for this. I'm not really gonna do much with this. Oh, we could have just logged into GitHub there. Think this'll. Oh, I don't have Git installed, so we'll need to download and install Git. If you were on a Mac or a Linux machine, that would not be a thing. Yes, I want Git. Sorry, that just asked me whether I wanted to allow this to make changes to my computer, and I do, in fact. Okay, great. So now I've got Git installed, so I can hit clone. I'm going to go ahead and clone this, and I want to trust this project. Okay, so here I've got my code. Might notice this is the same code. I'm going to just make one very simple change. I'm going to add an exclamation point. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to hit commit. I'm going to go in my commit message. I'm going to say I added an exclamation point. Is that not how you spell exclamation? Okay. All right, then we're going to commit this. Now I need my Git username. So put in my credentials here. Hit set and commit. Okay, so we made a commit to that. And now we can go ahead and we can push it. We can push. Okay, and now it's asking me to log in via GitHub, so I'm going to hit login via GitHub. It's going to bring up this guy. I'm going to hit, I want to authorize in GitHub. Great, and because I was logged in already, it just kind of happens. Okay, so now we have pushed our change. So So here's our GitHub repository. We're going to go in and we're going to look in main. We've got our exclamation point there. We can look at the blame here. So we can see that I'm the one doing both of these commits. All right, so we have successfully made a commit on a separate computer and pushed it to our main. And now we're going to go back to the other computer and pull that change down and look at it. Okay, back to the other computer. So I have here my old version without the exclamation point of my code, and I would like to get my changes that I made on the other computer onto this computer. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hit Update Project, and I'm going to say that I want to merge the incoming changes into the current branch. Rebasing is a useful but somewhat more complicated way to do this. I'm going to say that for the Git beginner, merge is going to be a lot easier to deal with. So I'm going to hit OK. Then we're going to do, this is actually doing a pull and a merge at the same time. So we can see here that we've got our exclamation point. Awesome. Check. Done. I now have the new version. The only thing you have to do with these that's a little bit careful is, well, okay, there's a few things you have to be a little bit careful with. Thing one, make sure that if you're using GitHub on a shared computer, make sure that you're logging out. If you don't log out, someone else could accidentally make changes to your repository and push those changes, and that would be bad. Thing two, make sure that when you're done for the day on a specific computer and you intend to work on another computer later, that you commit and push. Committing does not mean that it goes to the internet. If you just do a commit, you will have your local versions kind of queued up, ready to push to the internet, but you won't have done it. So a commit and a push every time you're leaving a computer is a good idea. Thing three, be a little bit careful with those conflicts. If you change code on two computers and haven't let me rephrase this. The cleanest way is for you to commit and push each time. If you forget to commit and push, you may have a merge conflict that's about to appear on your hands. They're not crazy hard to resolve. What you'll see is in a file like this, you'll see a conflict. It'll have some flagged sections that conflict with each other. It'll tell you which branch each one is coming from or which commit each one is coming from. And then you can go ahead and select the one you want to delete. You can delete it. You can remove all the extra characters. And then you can go ahead and commit that. It'll be fine. Resolving merge conflicts is not terribly hard. It's also not terribly easy. So the easiest thing to do is to avoid merge conflicts where possible. So committing and pushing your code makes that a lot easier. Thanks, guys. I think this is enough to get you started, especially if you're the only person working in a project. This ought to be enough.